Hello everyone, this is Chaim Durst, the Wordmuse. Today I'd like to talk about point of view. Shifting the point of view in your essay is one of the most effective ways to create mystery, make it gripping, to show vulnerability, self-knowledge, and the capacity to grow. Those 5 elements. You can create mystery if you can make it gripping, if you can show self-knowledge, vulnerability, and the capacity to grow. You have captured the reader's attention, and you're likely to keep it for the entirety of the essay. And you're likely to leave a very positive impression in the reader's mind. A unique point of view allows you to step outside of yourself and look at yourself objectively. Let me give you an example. I had one young student who was a chess master and was talking about their success at a chess tournament. And I said, oh, that's interesting, but that's sounds a little bit arrogant, and it probably will be lost in the shuffle of the other 30,000 other applications at your dream school. But if you shift the point of view and talk about yourself from the perspective of a pawn as it's being moved across the board, then you're much more likely to keep the reader's attention. And you're much more likely to show aspects of yourself objectively, more humbly, and more poignantly than if you just mention it, I did this and I did that, as opposed to you grab me and thrust me into battle. You employ me at your own disposal. Okay, what does that really mean? By using the word you, they're talking about you, the writer, but they're also talking about your relationship with authority figures, perhaps, your relationship with social media, your relationship with forces outside your control. Just shifting the point of view slightly opens up a whole new vista for you to express your identity in an effective and gripping manner. I'm going to show you how through some examples here. So let's talk about point of view. It's one of the best ways to show self-knowledge, vulnerability, and the desire to grow, which is the purpose of your personal statement, in my perspective, to show those 3 qualities. It's hard to show self-knowledge, and it's certainly hard to show vulnerability, and it's hard to show your desire and capacity to grow in a normal essay. But with a unique perspective, you can show those 3 qualities. The ability to look at yourself objectively shows self-knowledge, right? If you're using the point of view of something outside of you, let's say a chess piece, for example, that you're holding, it's looking back at you as you're holding it. It's seeing your weaknesses and your strengths, and by doing so, you are showing vulnerability. And by looking at those weaknesses, flaws, you are showing your desire to grow. You're not just saying, I have these weaknesses, but you're saying, I want to grow through them. It acts as an effective mirror. As Hegel says, one of my favorite philosophers, the purpose of relationship is a dialectic. It's a give and take through which we grow. A give and take through which we see a mirror image of ourselves. And we say, my gosh, I don't like this image of me. I want to change. It's very hard to see ourselves. When's the last time you saw yourself in a dream? I've only seen myself 3 times in a dream. My face. In my whole life. And each time I've said, wow, is that what my identity is really like? Just so, when you see an image of yourself reflected back in an essay, you're left with, okay, is that really who I am? And when the reader watches that process, they're like, oh my gosh, this is gripping. It also builds mystery. By using a unique perspective, it leaves the reader asking, who the heck is talking? And what is their relationship with you? It builds suspense, therefore, and also gets you involved. We've talked previously about the importance of using the pronoun you. in your essay. I believe that is the most important word you can use in your essay. By using a unique perspective, whoever is talking is looking at you. They're talking to you. It's also very gripping. It grabs the reader's attention and thrusts them right into the action. Let me give you an example of a back and forth point of view, where it's the writer and some unique perspective outside the writer. And you say, you may want me, but you don't need me. You're capable and lovable all by yourself. I just remind you of the peace you already have inside you. Clear your own mind. I exhale. I'm alone again, empty again. Don't abandon me. Why can't I love myself the way you love me? Why can't I love me more? You respond, because you don't know yourself well enough. I clear the smoke that clouds your inner sight. Stop dwelling on disappointments. Stop cutting yourself down. Picture yourself as a room you've piled high with junk. Now, breath by breath, one by one, take away from the picture anything that limits your creativity, anything that limits your ability to love. What do you have left? A you who is compassionate, you who is sincere, a you who is curious. That's the you I know and love. What is happening here? Well, we have someone who is smoking and we have the cigarette. The smoker is saying, I wish I could love myself more. And the cigarette is saying, you don't love yourself because you don't know yourself well enough. This interesting dialectic, this interesting relationship between the smoker and the cigarette draws the reader in. Even if you never figure out what's happening, it's so gripping and so interesting, and it's so philosophical. It shows self-knowledge, it shows the ability to grow, and it shows vulnerability. All of those three qualities so very effectively. Now here's a example of completely outside point of view. The writer is never involved. Is my memory too shallow to forget your frustrating attempts to elicit joy from my unwilling metal? You pluck me roughly, abrade me, and then expect me to create beautiful music? I was created to play second fiddle, it seems. Yet I want to lead, burst out of this fog of low harmonics, and lead your heart into directions of my own choosing. I've always been a reluctant follower at best, and truculent is more like it. Follow your nature and follow, you implore. I have enough insight into my inner workings to know the best sound for me, and it's not this. Haven't you noticed how adept I've become at adapting to cacophony? I love that line. Adapt. You say leave the extemporizing to these solo artists, yet I've been here all along, riffing in an unobtrusive way. I'd be content to continue if only you'd pause from your head banging just once to notice all I do for you, for the family, Father. So this is a young man who wanted to talk about playing music. And I said, well, that's so cliche, it's going to get lost. Please do not do that. And he said, no, I'm going to write about music. I said, fine. Then I encourage you to write from the perspective of your instrument. By doing so, he was able to open up and talk about the painful relationship with his father. I do not believe that he would be willing to show such vulnerability had he not shifted his point of view. A unique point of view allows you to use the pronoun you. It allows you to infuse mystery. It becomes more gripping. It shows self-knowledge, or at least it can, vulnerability, and growth. These 5 elements, if you have in your personal statement, you are likely to move the reader and increase your chances of getting into your first choice college. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Chaim Durst. I am the Wordmuse.